Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith. Look at this. This is Lord of Hellas, and we're doing an unboxing of it today on the channel. I'm super excited because this took forever to get to me in Canada. I was part of a group pledge, so this came with a bunch of friends basically all together. Plus, I actually added on Sundrop in order to pre-paint these miniatures so they'll look a little bit better. The nasty thing with that is that it obviously adds a bit of time, plus I'm in Canada, so most people in the States got this box already. Plus, retail's already hit in this game. I've even seen it on shelves in Canada about a month or two ago. So it took even longer for me to get this thing, which is kind of sad because I really wanted to experience this thing early on. I believe the latest update from Awakened Realms is that they've delayed Wave 2, which is, I think, the rest of the content for the Kickstarter, so that's kind of sad because things will be pushed a little further. But I'd also rather them make sure that the gameplay is actually good and that they fulfill it correctly than rush it out the door and risk it being a flop. Lord of Hellas has been well received, and that's one of the good things about this game. Even though it took longer to get to me, I'm still excited for it because the majority of reviews, and I don't do reviews on my channel, but the ones I've watched have been positive, and people really are enjoying this game. So now I've got it, and there is a solo mode inside of this one that I'll be exploring, something that I'd likely do on a future playthrough on the channel in a showcase. So first off, enough talking, let's get cracking into this box. So first off, the artwork on the box is fantastic. Again, it's Awakened Realms has created this. The game was by Adam. I'm not going to say exactly the last name because I will butcher it, and Marcin somebody is in development of the game. And again, I'm not going to go ahead with the last name because I will not do it justice. On the side here, again, very cool artwork all the way around. This thing has the person that did all the artwork for this particular one, which they're not written on this side of the box. Fantastic job. The box looks phenomenal regardless of how you put it on your shelf and position it. It has unique artwork on all sides. You can see that it's actually got so much content the box is lifted, so once I get through the punch boards it'll probably fall closed more normally. If I flip this over on its back side, you can see here, I'll just do a quick zoom so you can actually see a little bit more about what's going on the game board. The game board is beautiful. You've got a large game board that's a really long rectangle. You have these monuments, which are massive miniatures that basically are not assembled. So this individual right here is going to be literally assembled piece by piece by piece. And it's one of the ways you can win is by building monuments. There's multiple ways to win this game. I'm not going to go into details on all of them because I haven't played it enough to know that yet. But I do know that there's multiple ways to win, whether you're building, you can build these relics or statues. You can go for a territory type control victory. There's a number of different ways to do it. But this is really exciting. And I'm also excited, like I said, for the solo aspect of this. So that's the outside of the box. Now we want to see what's inside of it, because that's what really counts. So let's come around here and cut into this thing. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see how this looks. And I'm really interested to see how the Sundrop looks because I'm also going to be I already jumped in on the Nemesis Kickstarter, which is by these guys as well. And they'll be doing a similar Sundrop with that. And I also am going for that as well. The Nemesis one is a sci-fi game that they're putting together. Think of Alien, and it's kind of like Alien on crack. I guess they've got a whole bunch of stuff coming out for that most of you guys have probably seen in the Kickstarter that already closed. I believe they might have late pledges available or an option to get that. So, but they may not at this point because I think the pledge manager recently closed. So it might be too late for that. But as with Lord of Hellas, most of this stuff actually went to retail. So there's some things that may not. That I can't tell you, but I know that you'll have your chance to pick up either Lord of Hellas or Nemesis in retail, and you can even do Lord of Hellas right now. Look at the front cover of this box. It's fantastic. So first off, I don't know if you guys can see this, but there is a shimmer on this box. So this, if I can get in the right light, there you go. This whole individual is basically just got a nice shine to him. So there it is. This is a little better. You can see it much better now. And all the way up, I think the title too, yeah, the whip and everything. That's so cool. Again, I'm really, really bad with the names of these guys, so just cut me a little bit of slack there. There's some of you guys that are going to know all of these guys off the top of your head. I do not. I'll be becoming familiar with them as I go. This is not something that I'm very, very knowledgeable about, but I just saw the gameplay itself, and it looked really phenomenal. So here we go, cracking the top of the box off. The first thing you're going to see is the game board, and it is not small, it's a beast. So there's the game board, folded over multiple times. The artwork on the game board is really cool. It's very nice and very colorful. So when I get a chance to actually pop this thing completely open, which I could probably pop, I could do it a little bit right now. So here's one side. Like the artwork on that is very, very nice. Maybe I can just tilt it like this. This might work. So you guys can see that better. That looks really, really good. There's a little bit of shimmer there, but pretty awesome, right? Like there's good design there. It's going to look fantastic on the table. We'll be able to see more of the game board itself once we actually unfurl it and the camera positioning is a little bit better. I might take a shot at the end of the unboxing just showing this thing all laid out so that you guys can see it fully laid out because I think it's worth it. Then you got punch boards. So this is where the height of the box will drop down afterwards. So we've got the different individuals I'm assuming that you can be. So we got Helen is one, and you've got these things here. Now I think, and I'll be doing this as well during this video or maybe another one, is the terrain expansion. I think this gives you miniatures that will maybe, I think, replace these or some portion of this game. So this came along with it as well to just make the game look even better. But there you go. So this is one punch board. So you're going to pop these out like this. Oh, this is actually, my apologies, this is actually two back to back. So I'm punching out two at the same time. So Achilles there you go. So that's Achilles board. We've got these two boards here. That's awesome. So each one has their own board. Oh, that's cool. So it kind of interlocks like that. Oh, that's interesting. So it kind of connects like that. Now, I don't know if you can mix and match or not. Oh, no, you probably can't because it even has pictures of the miniatures and stuff like that. So this is obviously for Achilles. And then you've got one here for Helen. Once it pops out. These have no issues coming off that cardboard. They just come off so clean. There you go. There's Helen's. So again, not 100% sure how all that works, but I will learn. Tokens, just a whole bunch of tokens. Now we're punching those out. And then some more tokens on this side. There we go. Moving right along, we're getting ourselves Hercules. So again, this is gonna, it's a weird, it's got that Greek mythology, plus it's got the sci-fi, everything all mixed together, which is why you're probably looking at this going, this is a very interesting recreation of this whole world and stuff like this. But I love the sci-fi look of this thing. It makes it such a cool twist on the whole thing. So there's a whole bunch of tokens here for different things I'll be learning about. The Amazon Queen, all these different things that are going to likely be on the game board, either causing us grief or hopefully helping us. Percy's, nice. So, very, very cool. Oh, I can't wait to see the miniatures. Okay, so this is, these might be, okay, these are cards. I don't know exactly what these are in reference to or for. Let's see. I might regret ripping that, but gonna do it. So we've got, okay, so what are these? The Hunt, interesting. I don't know if these are specific to a particular, okay, these are just reference cards. Okay, so reference cards, I guess, for every player would be my guess here. Oh yeah, then we get actual cards here for maybe the monsters that were up, that are, you know, we can, oh yeah, those are monsters, yep. Nice. Oh, that looks so good. The artwork's fantastic. Very cool. That's so awesome. They did such a good job. Okay, and then the mobilization track. Maybe this is the solo. This is something for the solo, I guess. Don't know. Persian. It might be. That actually might be in relation to the solo. I'm not sure. That is cool. Oh, this is making me more and more excited to pull this off and see the miniatures underneath. I'm sure they're just going to be crazy. Okay, here we go. Next up, we got the game manual. So it's actually not that thick. It's pretty thin. There's a campaign book underneath. That's probably more exciting. There is a learn game from video. So Board Game Replay has actually done a video on this. That can help you actually get the game to the table as well. I don't know. I don't think that they covered the solo side of things, so I'll definitely be doing that. I think they just covered how to play a game with multiple players. But that's definitely worth checking out to get a good understanding of the rules. This is what the rule book looks like in terms of its layout and form. So similar to what you've expected from most game components are all laid out here in case you're missing something. You can double check. There's the miniatures that come in the game. You'll see that up close in person in a second. Victory conditions. So you can do Warlord of Hellas is one way to win. Favorite of the Gods is another way to win. Monster Slayer or King of Kings. So there's the 4 different ways you can win. Very cool. You've got your preparation of how you're going to set up your actual game board. I'll definitely be covering that in my videos as I do setups. And then, of course, you got your picking your heroes, your army, the course of the game. The artwork in the rulebook is fantastic. It all looks good. The spacing's good. And there's actually lots of pictures. So there's not much reading here. You'll rip through this fairly fast. So that's not bad at all. Okay, moving right along, we've got the campaign book. So this is the, let's see if I can actually get this off here. campaign book. This is going to be cool. This is going to have different scenarios and things like that. So here is the overview section of the campaign book with general rules, different army types, special actions, events, monster dice, all that good stuff. So more reading. Prologue, preparations, you got a table of random monsters. This might be where the solo stuff comes in at some point, but here's an act. This could be it right here, I don't even know. I got some reading to do, that's for sure, but these are the scripts. So for particular acts, there's actually scripts that they relate to, and you're going to read them when you're going into a particular scenario, I guess. Might affect the actual map, but it's a campaign, so that's really, really cool. Full campaign there on that one. And here we go. Oh man, that looks so good. Okay, so this is the box of miniatures. Again, Sundrop is not meant to be painted as in every little detail touched on. It's all about actually it's almost like dry brushing. You're kind of just spot hitting a miniature and making its details pop. It's not meant to, it's meant to take them and make them tabletop ready, not a professional competition ready. So basically you got a whole bunch of miniatures in here that have, and they actually look really good. It's got nice shading on it, so you can tell they've been painted, but it's a very, very much a dry brush look, right? So these ones are white, obviously. We've got ourselves some actual miniatures that are much smaller. I'll take them out in a second. But look at this. This is crazy. This might actually fall apart because I think it's in pieces. Oh my goodness, that is so nice. Wow. Oh yeah, it is too. So, that's crazy. So yeah, you can see it splits. Like right in the, it's actually splitting at the waist right now. I might have to play around with this gently because it is built in pieces. So you have like your monument base like this, and then you're going to basically have this individual plug in. Now right now her leg is going around in different, so probably like that, and then it's 2 and 1. So I guess it would look like this. Oh, that's so cool. So yeah, you're going to build up your monument. This is just one of the monuments you can build up, and of course I think her arm is it this one? Oh, no, I think it's this one. Yes, this looks right. I think. Yes. Got to double check this to make sure I'm putting this in. There we go. Yep, that's it. Now it's in. So now the miniature is complete. So I've actually built all stages of that particular miniature, but look at that thing. Ah, she's awesome. That looks so good. So just imagine that sitting on the board, and that's one of the win conditions, is just building this thing up. Of course, it has different tiers, so you just knock off the different pieces as you're going along. Again, I don't know where the joints break, so I'm not going to get too violent with it, but it's actually sectioned off into pieces that just sink into each other, which is awesome, so you're building that up. We've got other miniatures here to go through, so here's another one. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. So like look at the detail on these buildings and the actual miniature itself. That looks so cool. It's awesome. Oh my gosh. The painting job really gives it a two-toned effect, so it just kind of it helps to bring out the details and make them pop a little bit more than it would otherwise. Okay, interesting. This guy here. So this guy definitely has the massive whip. He's on the front cover of this thing. I just don't know how to actually, how do I get this in so it's close. I'm butchering this right now, getting this in here. Oh, there we go. That's kind of weird, actually. Where does this... Oh. Got it, I think. Nope, I don't. Well, that's embarrassing. So I'm definitely not going to try to assemble this until later when I can actually figure out what direction that's supposed to be facing, because I'm obviously doing it wrong. Yeah, we'll do that later. Okay, so anyway, that's one of the miniatures there. But again, details on this guy looks awesome. So let me just try to get the focus there. There we go. Pretty cool, right? That's pretty awesome. All right, so there's another one done. These are the bigger ones, so they obviously come in bigger pieces. We're getting into smaller stuff now. So I think some of these are the monsters that you can basically go up against and try to attack and kill. So here's one of them. Again, looks phenomenal. You got all the, like, again, they're mechs. They're like a robot. So they've got all these crazy little, like the tail here is coming out. It's got a claw on the back. It's like a weird scorpion, lion, bat thing all mixed together. Craziness. Next one here we've got is, oh, look at this. This looks so cool. So we got, look at the heads on this thing. So that looks pleasant. So whole bunch of those to deal with wherever they are. They got full scale armor all the way around. This one right here is also just as cool. Kind of looks like a three-headed panther or something like that. But again, the details off the charts. Again, that dry brushing really helps bring it up another level that you wouldn't expect otherwise. This one right here, a little smaller, but has an individual standing beside this creature. That's actually really cool. You see all the armor plating and stuff like that. So that's fun. We're almost near the end here. So this one right here, we've got, oh, this is actually kind of cool. So this person has a person and they're holding, this is kind of weird actually. See, but it looks like they're either controlling this person using their mind, I think. That's what it looks like. Very cool pose though. And this guy's awesome. I don't think any of these are bad, to be honest. They're all very nice. And everything came good. There's no bending. There's no visible signs of damage or anything like that. Everything looks really good. Quality-wise, happy. And then you've got bags of smaller miniatures. So whenever you're playing as an army, you're going to actually have miniatures, of course. They're going to represent your army. I think these are all unique. So they're all going to have their own look and feel. So across the different factions that you're playing. So this is one. This is what it looks like for one of them, for instance. And of course, again, with the I keep saying dry brushing, but with the sun drop, they're not always going to look exactly the same because it's kind of touched on to highlight different areas. So it's meant to have a unique look per model. So some people have been saying, oh, they don't all look exactly the same when you do sun drops, so that's not as good. Well, that wasn't their intention. They made that clear that they were going to basically be doing this at a really generic and high level. It's just to kind of, it's for people that really don't want to go crazy and paint everything and just have things, have the detail raised on them. So we're going to move over to, and actually for Nemesis, which is their other Kickstarter they just completed, they're planning on putting blood splatter on them on top of the sun drop. So that's going to make them look even better. And of course with an alien vibe, that makes sense. Here is the blue factions models. Again, there's different, some of them look similar and some of them look different, but this is what your guys will typically look like for their clan. For the white, it looks like for the yellow, it looks like they're more soldiers. Like they have spears, I think, and shields, very, very, very tall shields. So here is 3 of them, all side by side, their backs and everything else. They look really cool, actually. I like those guys. They're like sentries. And then lastly, we have the red faction. So we're getting down there, and then we're going to get into some cards and tokens and stuff. Really, really good production value, though, on this. They definitely held up there in the bargain on making it look nice. And I think on the table it's going to look really cool. Actually, I like these guys a lot. These are interesting. So, as you can see, totally different shading there. Now, sometimes, every once in a while, you're going to get one when you do the sun drop here where it's going to be like, this guy's lacking a bit on the face. But I've also got paint as well, and I can do some quick dry brushing to bring out that detail and have it match a little more closely. So that's not really a big issue for me. The biggest time saver with the sun drop is just not having to bother myself, typically. So next up we have tokens. Nothing too fancy here, but basically some nice cubes, something that you'd see from Terraforming Mars. You've got the clip-on bases. There is a die in here, it looks like, so that's surprising. I actually didn't know if there was any dice rolling at all in this game. But there's one, oh, the die came flying out. So here is the one die for the game. I don't know if this is used for fighting against the enemies during your turn, during the solo mode, I'm not sure. You've got different bases, of course, for your different units, and I'll have to learn which ones those go on. You've also got a special bag. Ooh, not sure. These are standees, so I guess those cardboard tokens we were talking about earlier that look like people, probably use those for them. And then, of course, you got the red cubes for tracking things maybe on your sheet. You also have specific clan faction plastic tokens. So these are really nice. This is kind of a nice bling factor. They didn't just go cheap. It actually literally looks like candy. I kind of want to eat them, but I advise not to do that. They really do actually look and even sound like candy. They have individual logos, emblems kind of burnt into them, so you know exactly which ones are for which factions. So here are the 4 ones that you are going to become familiar with within the base game. And of course you get a whole bunch for every single faction. Pretty cool. Okay, so we'll put those back in the bag. Now we're going to move on to cards. So there's only a little bit more to go through here. We're actually done, but there's a lot of cards here. So there's this stack of cards. There's another stack underneath of it, and I'm sure with the expansions that are coming, there'll be even more. So let's go ahead and pull this off. This is an easy, I like that. That's actually really cool. I don't like plastic wrap, so that was nice to just be able to pull that off and be done with it. Let's go through some of the cards really quick. I'm not going to talk about what they do and how they work because Not familiar enough with them at all to speak to anything, but I want to show you guys the artwork as well as some of the abilities here. You can feel free to pause as you want, but the artwork and stuff like that is really cool. Again, it has a really nice vibe to it. Definitely hits the sci-fi Greek mythology thing all mixed together. It's very, very cool. I need to brush up on all that myself, to be totally honest. Here we go with another deck of cards. These are really nice. They have really interesting designs on them. And I like that they didn't muddy up the edges of the cards with a lot of borders. I mean, some cards do have borders, but look at how little space they use for borders, giving you more room for artwork and symbolism and things like that, so you can actually see things clearly. Like the cards are not over cluttered with detail that just is unnecessary. So that's good. So these, I don't know what these are. These are considered combat cards. So combat cards, the first ones here were event cards, just so you're aware. So these ones were all events. These are combat cards. You're going to have a bunch of different weapons, probably different values. You might upgrade these. Maybe you start at a certain level and they get more and more powerful, would be my guess. Or maybe it's just ultra. Oh yeah, yep, 3 and 2. So guessing that weapon can get better and better as you go along. But there's a whole bunch of different weapons. I'll try to keep the focus here so you guys can see the artwork clearly. Sorry if it does go a little bit off with the focusing, but I am whipping through this at a pretty decent pace. Attack, that's a cool piece of art. These cards are nice. They're definitely nice. What are these ones considered? These are called monster attacks. So we're in the red areas are how the monsters are going to behave, basically, probably against you when you're fighting them. So that's cool. They kind of have like AI cards, I guess. Then we got reference cards. You give one out to every player for each of the colors. Cool. That is that deck of cards. And lastly, we've got this one. And I'm telling you, I love this. This is awesome. More companies should do that because I really, really don't like taking plastic wrap off cards. These are called blessings. So you've got a whole bunch of different blessings here to go through. Battle prayer, no attrition, always prepared. Let me see if I can get an angle here that doesn't have as much light glaring into the camera. These are tougher because the cards are sideways, but there we go, mobilization. Interesting. Okay, and then these ones are considered blessings again, but they have, oh, that's kind of cool actually. So maybe these are more powerful blessings. Oh, are these blessings per faction? That makes more sense. Yes, they are. So every color has a whole pile of blessings. No point in going through these, they're just majorly text. You have cards that I have no idea what this is. A temple. They represent temples. Maybe you can go and try to reclaim or claim, I guess, along the way. Monument activation cards. This is another event card, so some events. These could, and the funny thing too is I'm not 100% sure which ones are going to be specific to the base box you can buy in retail, and if any are Kickstarter exclusive. There might be no Kickstarter exclusive stuff in this, but there might be. I might be missing something there. But that's it, guys. That is the unboxing of Lord of Hellas. Hopefully this helps you understand what's inside the box. The game looks fantastic. I just hope it plays as good as it looks. I've heard really good things, so I have high hopes for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, keep on rolling solo.